Mm. Ooh, yeah. You cannot beat this Aldi's pizza for $7. Did you guys buy pizza for $3.14 on Pi Day? Next Pi Day, go to 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
They'll sell you the frozen pizzas. And you would think a 7-Eleven pizza is not very good, but those things are awesome. Mel bought like 18 of them. And they have cheese, they have pepperoni, they have supreme, they have sausage. Their cheese pizza was probably one of the best cheese flavored pizzas I've had. So what's going on with your beer?
Just waiting for primary to be done. It's slowed down. It's not, but it's not done yet.
Is your gauge still pegged out? No.
No, I got it. I got it pretty early on, ironed out to where it wasn't pegged out anymore. But it's not quite 15 psi. It's like 13 or 14. But like I said, the adjustment on that thing is so finicky.
Mm.
So like the slightest little adjustment, and suddenly it's not pegged out, but it's like way past 15. I'd rather it be a little under than a little over. But once I got that figured out, it wasn't too bad.
Well, you see mine. That's after 5 days of being unattended, and they're still right at 15, 14. That's how good those valves are. I love them things. The bad thing is there's only one place that sells them, and if they go out of business or something, you won't ever be able to get them again. Because they're not a reseller, they're an actual machine shop,
Mm-hmm.
and they make them. That's why I bought more than I needed, just in case. Yeah. I'm curious to see how your beer is. We're doing things that other people in the club are like, oh no, can't do that. You know what I mean? Who in the club has ever pitched 2-year-old frozen yeast before? In a pressurized fermentation vessel.
And it was just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Worked great.
Well, you know, yeast has been way longer than humans, and they've gone through ice ages and hot tropical environments and frozen and thawed and everything else over time, and they're still here. So, and they didn't have the benefit of vegetable glycerin to keep them from exploding. Even if you froze it without vegetable glycerin, I'm sure there'd be viable cells in that tube that you'd be able to restart up again. Hmm. I think I just heard something on my phone. Oh, my son. Hmm. I'm going to take a picture of us as documentation so my wife believes me. See, that's how I prove where I'm at. Once you do that, then you bring the prostitutes in the stripper pole. Oh, they're just hanging out. Wait a minute, are you still videoing? God damn it! You caught my damn trick. Fuck. I mean, beep. I was wondering why you're so quiet. No, we don't do that.
No, it's just him.
Yeah, 40 years ago, maybe. I'm not that stupid anymore. After paying child support for 30 years, you learn your lesson. You can just reduce the volume, the sound, and substitute music for it. They'll be like, look at that guy dancing with his face.
There's my sound effect.
Why fart and waste it when you can burp and taste it? Mm. What's Jill making for dinner?
I don't know. I'll find out when I get home.
Must be nice. Mel doesn't make me nothing. When our grandson comes over, she'll break out all the pots and pans and make stuff and everything. Be like, oh, what are you making us? I'm not making you anything. I'm just making Bentley this. Oh. So how was the meeting yesterday?
Didn't have one. You weren't ready yet because you just got home.
I could have been,
Yeah.
but I knew it wasn't going to happen. So
I don't understand. Brian Bentley trying to host a meeting, and there's absolutely zero information coming out. The host is usually the one that does all that crap.
well, someone needs to contact him and say, hey, because
Well,
this happened, we didn't have a meeting at all for the entire club.
well,
So if
I don't really think it was as much Brian's fault as it was the people that normally attend weren't going, like you and Paul.
that guy didn't know that. I don't even know who that guy is.
Well, the problem is meetings at his house. Okay, fine. I need more details.
Mhm.
Never got them.
That's what I mean.
So Mike Brennan was a maybe, because at first it was a no, because he's been dealing with get his mother-in-law taken care of, and that's been a lot. She's her health is not good. They're doing the best they can.
Yeah.
And he wasn't coming until he knew for sure about an hour before the meeting started. Like, hey, I can go, and that was after I'd talked to Paul, because I'd heard nothing from Brian. And Paul hadn't heard anything from Brian. I said, if you're not going, Mike Brennan's not going, Dave's probably not going. The only person that leaves that you can count on that would be there would be my wife and myself.
Well, as long as there was some behind the scenes communication with the dude, that's one thing. But if he just posted something a month ago and then never followed through, never contacted anyone, no one contacted him, and he just let it go, that's not acceptable.
So
because you're just
when I came to the understanding that my wife and I were probably the only ones going, I was like, no offense to Brian, because I haven't heard anything. Why would I want to go? There's no meaningful club type discussion going on at that point. It's just us bullshitting.
Well, he shouldn't even be on there. We should kick him off the Facebook page. So we can't leave.
I would love to be able to control that page, because I wouldn't accept half of the people that get accepted. Because anytime you do a poll now, what should we do over the next couple of months? Now all these other people that have no vested interest in the club are going to be voting on this stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't really like that.
No.
The Ales page needs to be for Ales members that actually show up.
We don't even need to have a nails club. It's just the guys that brew and hang out, and that's it.
Yeah.
We don't need to advertise and shit
and we've already had most of this discussion, but I know there's a couple of guys that like to go to festivals besides myself.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't show up, they're never going to find out this information. It's like I'll write stuff down. This is
what do we have going on? Anything?
Not anything anytime soon.
Usually they're in the fall.
Yeah, the Tallahassee. A couple of guys that I know have been talking about the Tallahassee Beer Festival, because it's a big ass festival, and homebrewers are allowed to go pour at the Tallahassee Beer Festival. And there's between the homebrewers and the actual breweries that show up, there's 60 or 70 breweries that show up with 3-4 kegs apiece. There's a lot of beer there.
The only thing that would interest me is trying other people's beer.
The only problem with that particular event is it's the same weekend as my wife and I's anniversary. And, no offense to the beer, but a beer festival is not where she wants to go for our anniversary. That's why I've never gone.
No.
It's not fair to her.
Yeah. I mean, she already caves and lets you do things that she would probably do other things instead.
Exactly.
During the year.
So her and I are going to go to the Thomasville, Georgia Beer Festival in October. And if anybody else wants to go, I can get 2 more people in for free, up to 4 people. And I'll probably make 4 beers and or ciders.
When is it, October?
It's October 21st or something like that. The week before Halloween.
Gonna wear Halloween costumes in there or no?
I probably won't. That's more the Facebook page looks more like fall festival stuff than Halloween.
like the harvest type thing.
Yeah. So
Well,
depending on how my Oktoberfest comes out, because I will try it when it's ready, as soon as it's ready to drink, because I want to see what it's. If I like how it come out, I'll probably do another 5 gallons of it and take it to that.
well, make sure you use that jar I gave you to harvest all your yeast from this batch.
Yeah.
But it is going to skew over time because it's 2 different kinds of yeast in that
Mhm.
yeast. It's a blend.
That's what Paul was saying when I was talking to him about it.
So when Y yeast makes the blend, they actually have a whole tank of this yeast and a whole tank of this yeast.
And then they blend them together.
And if it's a 2-ounce container or a 4-ounce container,
Mhm.
they say, okay, well, I'm going to put 2 ounces of this and 2 ounces of this, right? But when you brew with it, you're letting it loose and you're letting it reproduce on its own. It might end up being 2.4 ounces of this and 1.6 of this
Right.
after the first generation. Because the more dominant yeast is eventually going to take over, and then you'll end up with a single strain. But
Which is fine.
the good news is they're both Oktoberfest yeast, so how
Right.
bad can it get?
I don't think it's going to be bad.
As long as you don't get any
It'll
bacteria or germs,
just be a little different.
It might be better.
Mhm. You may not like that less dominant strain of yeast and get more of what you want.
Yeah. Well, my problem with things like that is if I tell Mel, hey, let's go to Georgia to the beer festival. I don't want to go to that. She doesn't like beer at all.
Well, I get a hotel room and everything.
Oh.
They're giving us a hotel room.
Yeah, but she wouldn't want to be at the beer festival. She'd want to be at, looking around shopping at the mall and the nail shop and then the hair salon and all that during the beer festival, and I would end up going by myself.
Well, I can tell you right now, Thomasville, Georgia is not that big of a town. She would hate it.
And she would never go to another one after that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I really don't I just don't waste my time.
And Thomasville's a cool little town. I've been there before. The one job I used to have, I used to go through there semi-regular, like once or twice a month. That's a neat little town.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just stuff that like we went to a brewery while we were up north, but that's because my cousin invited us and we were socializing with him, and she likes my cousin's wife, and so there was a reason to go, but she has to make a connection with someone who's going that has things in common with her. Nobody has things in common with her because nobody collects makeup. Nobody is,
Mm-hmm.
She likes to be glamorous or whatever you want to call it. And the wives are all just everyday wives. They're not into all that stuff.
I mean, they all like to get dressed up once in a while, but not every day.
Yeah, like she won't go out of the house unless she spends 3 hours getting ready. Where
And that was like when
other wives wash their face with a washcloth and
all right, let's go
clothes on and leave.
That's like when I got the batteries in the golf cart, got everything hooked up, made sure everything was cleaned off and ready to go, and like, hey, going for a ride on the golf cart, you want to go? And like that, she was ready. All right, let's go. Drive me.
Mine would never do that. It's too hot out there. I'm not going out
Now, granted,
there.
I hadn't charged the other 4 batteries yet because I didn't know how it was going to go. But by God, it had enough juice in it to take us all the way down past Paul's house. I stayed on our road. You know how you turn to go to Paul's house? I stayed on our road and went all the way down until I got to a stop sign and made a right. And then I wound up on the main drag. And the batteries were already starting to, not be as good as they were. Like, I knew it wasn't going to go far. And I was like, well, I got to stay on the flat roads because if I try to go uphill, it might not make it up the damn hill. And I made it all the way back to the house, and it made it all the way back to the top of the driveway. Barely.
Good.
Now, it was rolling about that fast up the driveway because that's all the power it had. It did it on its own.
You planned that just right.
Oh, I got lucky is what I
If
did.
it got stuck at the end of the driveway and wouldn't go
Well-
up, you'd really be screwed.
Well, I had to stop about half a block away and make her get off the golf cart because I wanted my momentum when I was going up the driveway to go as far as I could.
Yeah.
It goddamn near made it all the way up the driveway without help.
You should have got off too.
Well, I mean, I had my foot off to the side and I was doing like this to roll it. It got up the hill though.
So it's like a big skateboard.
That's what it felt like for a minute. And then I gave it a couple of minutes to cool off. And before I came here, I put it on the charger and charge everything up.
Yeah.
I've already got stuff in the Amazon cart. You know, well, it's got headlights on it that do work, but they're not hooked up to anything because the wiring that the guy put in there was
What kind of taps are you ordering for it? You're gonna have to get one of those round igloo coolers so that you can put a 2.5 gallon keg in it.
I already
with ice
have one.
and have a tap on top.
I already have one. I'm just going to put a picnic tap on it. That way I can pull the picnic tap from behind me while I'm going down the road.
Or get a trailer and put a full chest freezer like I have and a little generator. And have 30 gallons of beer on tap behind that thing. I always wanted to buy a full-size school bus and cut the side off with a torch and have it on hydraulics so it goes down like this and turns into a stage, and have a band on it at the beach and have it 4-wheel drive or 6-wheel drive or whatever with big monster truck tires on it, and have the whole side come down for a live band, and have the whole other side come down with a bar on it for beer and everything else. So the whole thing would just be like.
But yeah, I've got the whole wiring kit for the headlights and taillights and turn signals and all that crap. The whole kit was only like $79, and that's with the lights and switches and everything. All the wiring to go from front to back.
So what are you going to do with this golf cart? You're just going to drive around on the neighborhood and go bug Paul?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Hey, you MRFer. Don't make me come over there.
Drive by and just...
Don't make me come over there and run your ass over.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, because you could bring him all his shit that he leaves at your house.
No, I've actually taken most of it back.
You're like, oh, here's your keg of beer. Oh, here's your spent grain.
Yeah, she wants to get it only has the 2 front seats. It doesn't have the back seats on it. But the whole thing brand new in the same black color that it's got. The center of these seats have that black insert in them, and the seat that she bought that she wants to buy for the back is that same material as the insert, except it's the whole seat because it was less expensive to do it that way. And that whole thing was only like $250.
I would put 4-wheel independent suspension on there, and I would hook little pneumatic cylinders to it so you could be like the Mexicans and like.
You can actually get lowering kits for them. They just like put it on the ground. I mean, and for the terrain they're designed for, you probably could get away with it, not have it scrape. I already know how big of a tire and wheel I can get without putting a lift on it.
You're gonna have to get a trailer so you could drive that thing over here so we can run it around. There's a whole golf course over here.
That would be hilarious.
I need to take you up to the clubhouse one day. It's only $1 a day for guests to use the clubhouse.
That's not bad.
You and Jill could come up for $2 and spend the whole day.
Yeah, you without lifting the golf cart. Now, granted, they're rubber band tires, like little low profiles like this, but I can get like a 14-inch wheel on that thing without lifting it.
I'd get some of those all-terrain side-by-side 4-wheel drive
I can get some
tires.
I can get some of those without lifting it.
And I'd put beer taps on it for sure.
I think my one cooler that I put the one I call the single shooter that holds like one keg and has a hole in the lid where you fill the bottom part with ice and put the lid on it. I think that'll fit on the back of that.
Is it a 5-gallon keg or a little keg?
It's a 5-gallon keg.
Damn, that's
but
heavy.
But only like that much of it sticks out of the top of the cooler.
Your front 2 wheels will be off the ground from the weight. You have to put a wheelie bar on the back of it.
Yeah, I have to go get that thing out of storage now, because that little cooler sits in storage because I don't really have room to keep it at home right now. I'm actually selling one of my 120 quart coolers. I've got 2 of them. I only really need 1 now. I'm not doing the big ass festivals with Jarrow like I used to. It's just I'm going to like 2 or 3 a year, and that's it. I'm
going to 1 every 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Last festival I went to was the Tidal Halloween.
Yeah. And it's like I like going to festivals, and I like having all of my equipment match, which is why I have those 2 big ass coolers.
Mm.
I kind of say Paul, but I don't,
Well, Tidal turned me completely off. That's the first thing I've gone to in a decade, and I don't want anything to do with it because they did best of show. Like, people.
I hate people's choice competitions.
That's what it was. It was people's choice. It was like there was no competition for beer. There was no competition for cider. There was no competition for anything. It was people's choice. And what happens is you get the guy who loves beer, bring his wife who doesn't like beer, and they're like, "Oh man, that grape tutti frutti seltzer was awesome."
And that's what wins.
And mm-hmm. I thought we were going to be judged on our beer. And that's what aggravated me. And then when I asked the girl at Tidal about it, she got an attitude. Like right off the bat. Like, well, it's people's choice. It's like, I'm like, I just want to know where the beer placed, like. And then I found out they didn't even do it. They didn't even know where the beer placed. And then I'm like, fuck this. I don't want nothing to do with it. This is a brewery that could care less about beer. Like, what brewery gives away prizes to seltzer water?
A lot of them, unfortunately.
It's not brewing.
Yeah.
It's adding fake flavor to water and putting CO2 on it.
Gosh.
Or what are they doing? They're fermenting water and sugar with yeast and then adding flavor to it? Or
I don't know how to make hard seltzer.
Are they putting vodka in it or something?
I have no idea. I'll probably make a cider to go to Thomasville. At least one. Yeah. I'm probably gonna make the Oktoberfest to go to Thomasville. And then I'll make the IPA for New York. And if I like how it comes out, I'll make it again and send that to Thomasville. And then I'll have 3 beers and a cider. And that should be good. Because I also have to fit all this crap in my truck too.
Yeah, this IPA is not as good as the normal one.
Yeah.
I don't think.
It's nice to drink though.
I ran into a problem with it because it required Irish ale yeast. But I only had enough Irish ale yeast to pitch into a 5-gallon batch, not a 10-gallon batch. And I made a 10-gallon batch of this. And then I also made the Irish red. So I took the Irish yeast and make the Irish Red.
Mm-hmm.
And this is US-05, American Ale yeast. I figured,
It turned out okay.
well, American Ale yeast, it's an American IPA. It's like a West Coast IPA. We'll see what happens. But I don't think it turned out
It's not quite
as
as hot.
good.
Doesn't seem quite as hoppy.
No.
Like it lost a little bit.
Well, the problem is the American Ale yeast, it ferments lower. It leaves less sugar behind.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it drier. So you get that bitterness on the tongue instead of the well-balanced hop flavor.
Yeah.
Is that thing four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive?
It's 2-wheel drive. It gets okay gas mileage.
Mine's two-wheel drive too, but the tires make it look kind of sportier.
Yeah.
But
I actually had those tires on my red Mazda pickup, and the tires were like, I had less than 1,000 miles on them when that transmission blew out. And I wasn't really intending on keeping those tires, but when I bought that thing, it needed tires, so I just had the tires swapped over.
well, look at those Kumho tires. Those things are cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I bought them for Mel like 15 years ago. She had an old Jeep Grand Cherokee, the old model,
Mm-hmm.
and she had it converted to right-hand drive. It had like pulleys and fan belts and shit up on the
Yeah.
steering wheel. And she was going through tires like crazy. And I'm like, well, I'm going to get some tires with some meat on them. So I got her those Kumho tires. And man, them things lasted years and years and years and years and years and never wore out. So I was like, man, they use good rubber on these tires. So I did a bunch of searching in the Ford Ranger forums online.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what's the biggest size Kumho tires I could put on a Ford Ranger? And the guy had them, and he had pictures and everything. And I'm like, that looks good. And I bought them thinking that they weren't going to work. And sure enough, they work. There's no rubbing anywhere.
Yeah, see, even those, when I'm turned at full turn, they actually rub.
Well, you need to get them spacers on.
I hate running those damn things, though.
You know what I'm talking about? They bolt
Yeah.
on, and then the wheel bolts onto that. It pushes the wheel out.
Yeah,
a little further.
I don't like doing that. I'm always afraid I'm going to be one of those fucking viral videos where the fucking tire comes off going down the highway because it just puts too much pressure on it and the whole thing snaps off. And then somebody's car gets totaled.
These tires wear the front end out quick.
Because they're heavier.
Like I just replaced all the ball joints and stuff on the front end of that about 3 years ago. They're already wore out. But
Yeah.
I think it's because I never replaced the shocks. I don't think my shocks are working on that thing.
Quite possibly, no. I'm getting ready to have to do ball joints on that thing. Because I noticed one of the boots on the driver's side the last time I had it up in the air, the boot's not even cracked. It's just fucking gone. It's not even there. So I know that's getting done probably this summer.
Just put some tinfoil on it and go like that.
No, I push grease through it, so at least it's keeping shit out.
These cars nowadays, they don't even have a grease fitting on the whole damn car.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm glad I got a 40-year-old golf cart.
Mel's transmission on her Grand Cherokee.
Doesn't even have a dipstick in it.
No dipstick, and it's sealed.
They call it lifetime fluid, and it's bullshit because it's the same fucking fluid that's in that truck. Sort of. And if you get under there and you feel around where the dipstick should be, it's not sealed, but there's a plug there. So you really could put a dipstick in it if you wanted to.
They should have.
Because there's still a transmission pan
Yeah.
under it.
Like, isn't there a filter in the pan and a magnet and all that shit?
Yeah.
Like the whole,
Yeah, it's still got a filter in there. Because when they rebuild those transmissions, first thing they do is they drop the pan and they pull the filter out before they take it apart.
I don't get it. Like, I love
Yeah,
her Jeep.
it's all designed so you have to replace it more often.
Her Jeep is freaking awesome. But I don't like that kind of crap. It's like all electric too. Like the whole dashboard is
It's like
like a
one
computer
solid
screen.
pane. And it's like one solid screen.
It's a big screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything's computerized. It has a up and down like joystick type thing on the steering wheel where you could filter
Yeah.
through all the different screens and stuff. Go to maintenance and all these different things.
That was the fun part about Joey's Camaro when you could put it in like track mode and have the instrument cluster have a completely different readout. So instead, it's like your speed and your tack was over here instead of like on
Yeah.
either side like normal. Everything was over here, and
Yeah.
it showed like your lap time and your 0 to 60 and this and that and everything else.
And it's got the paddle Triptronic.
No, his was
shifters and shit on it.
his was a manual transmission.
My wife's has that
Yeah.
Triptronic shit on
Yeah,
it.
the automatics had those in the Camaros, but the manual transmission cars don't have paddles. It's all,
Yeah.
shift it yourself, which really is more fun.
But my wife will fuck around. She'll be driving and her finger will hit it. And it'll be like, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
She's like, oh, I don't know. I must have hit the thing. And she put it, you were like
No.
in 8th gear, but now you just switched to 7th gear.
it's not. It had paddles, but it wasn't for shifting because it was a manual transmission. The paddles did in that car did something else, and I forget exactly what it was. I think it's like it's rev matching. So when you're downshifting, it holds the engine at like the correct RPM for the next gear, whether you're
Well,
going up or
supposed to-
down.
that's what the gas pedal's for.
Well, it kind of
Back in
helped.
the day, we used
Yeah.
to like rev up and
You knew how
just put
to.
a little bit of pressure and it would go poof. It would
Mhm.
bump right in. Like when you're downshifting.
Yeah, and let me tell you that rev matching in that Camaro was fun. I was just
Yeah.
really learning how to use it when he had to sell the car.
Well, I just showed her yesterday. I was like, we're going down the veterans. I said, see this? Watch. I said, watch this. I'm going to hit the paddle. As soon as you hit a paddle, whether it's the up paddle or the down paddle,
Mm-hmm.
it's in manual shifting. So if you're in drive and you're in 8th gear and you hit the paddle, now you're in 8th gear manual, right? If you hit the plus, you're in 9th gear. If you hit the minus, you're in 7th gear. But I showed her, I said, look, because she'll pull over to the side of the road and call me on the phone like, my Jeep is stuck in manual again. How do I get out of it? I'm like, put it in park, and then put it in drive, and it'll switch. But I showed her how to do it rolling down the veterans yesterday. I said, look, I'm going to put it in manual now on purpose. I flicked the paddle. I said, now it's in manual. I said, see the dashboard? It says manual. I said, watch this. Put it in neutral. Wait a second. Put it in drive. And then the manual, it went back to D. Because it'll be like D5 or D6.
Yeah, and then when you hit the paddle, it says M5 or M6
M5
or whatever.
M6, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, that's good to know. And I'm like, yeah, as long as you can remember that. If not, you're going to have to pull over to the side of the road and put it in park and put it back in drive like I told you the last time.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but do not put it in reverse while you're going down the freaking road. Because I said, I doubt the car will let you do that, but don't even try.
She might have something that flashes across the screen. Warning, warning, warning.
Don't even try it.
Yeah.
You'll fly through the windshield and your transmission will fall out of the bottom of the car.
Yeah. Shit, I think we're still recording.
Yeah. Hi!